Good afternoon, everyone. It is Thursday, May 15th, 2025. Our institution's selling this rally here. Is there a little bit of danger ahead? Let's get into it here with our daily SPY SPX analysis. Again, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. I appreciate all of you guys for subscribing to the channel and helping me out here, supporting me for the last 4 years. Also, come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. So let's get into it here today. Markets basically kind of mixed here. We have the Russell and the Dow starting to show some leadership as the QQQ kind of takes a back seat for once. So lately it's been gamma squeeze, mostly Mag 7 names, as that's where the hedges had the most pain, right? Tariffs hurting those stocks, and a lot of hedges downside. Those are getting squeezed off into OPEX. We've known that story, and that's been the case here. But so we're seeing that rotation here, and the spiders here kind of in the middle. They're up 40 basis points. Did we pump for any reason here? No, we just pumped up. We really just kind of had a quiet PPI. It was actually it was pretty cool. So were retail sales, but again, we mentioned this yesterday and the day before. The CPI already kind of told us that we were going to see a cooler print, or at least it prepped the market for that. And so if we didn't see that, it would have been a surprise. But nonetheless, you can see this morning, if we just look at ES here, it's kind of a nothing burger, not really do much there. Powell speaking this morning too, also a nothing burger. He didn't comment on monetary policy. I didn't think he would. He did say that they may adjust the inflation goal, but it's like they're already at the goal anyway, so I don't see why they would need to say that. The market didn't even rally on that. We just kind of popped here. All right, so what's the danger here? I'll just say this right now. Like, I'm probably as bearish as I've been in like a year and a half, maybe longer than that. Does that mean we're looking for a crash here? But no, just in the short term here, this move right now, specifically that secondary thrust there, I don't really like it for bulls. I'll be honest with you. And the last time I felt anywhere close to this was because of the banks on February 20th. And that's what prompted me to exit the next day, right near the highs here. I actually bearish enough here that I actually inched into shorts for the first time in a while. So I'll just let you guys know that. Could we still go up to 6,000? It's possible. I mean, why not? The NASDAQ is now up 30% in 5 weeks. Well, it was intraday before we pulled back. Now QQQ turning red on the day. But we could go up there and maybe complete a euphoric move. I don't know what's going to get us there. Michigan consumer tomorrow. I doubt it. But yeah, that's kind of like where the tail is hedged. But it's still 100 points away, and we're already up a lot. So I don't really see it. But yeah, right now I just don't like this this final push here. That kind of came out of nowhere. I would have been fine. In fact, this really just really kind of happened to me maybe 3 hours ago. I was a little cautious. We talked about this the last couple of days. Yeah, we're looking to maybe hedge or trim out here. I would have been fine if we had just kind of pulled back. If we just pulled back to 5,800, I wouldn't even have cared what's going on here. But that kind of secondary thrust, that's the type of stuff you see. It's you don't want to kill the bears, right? If you're looking for a bull market, you want the bears to be alive. You just want them to be wounded. You want the bears to continue denying the rally, right? Which is ironic because I'm saying I'm a bear right now, but I haven't been up until today. But there's just too much carnage. I don't like the vertical nature here. I do like the overall, I do respect the overall move. We talked about that with that power gap. But right now, I just don't like the price action. I don't know what else to tell you. Maybe it's just a trader intuition, a lot of screen time, a lot of time. I don't see problems with the banks or anything. You do have a little bit of issue with dollar yen. That is losing that breakup bar from earlier this week, so I don't like that. I do think it's interesting that the 2-year is ripping right now. Bonds in general getting a pretty good bounce here. That does seem to, the market should like that. It gets us closer to our rate cut, but To me right now, there's a couple of things we're also seeing. Tomorrow, but we know that this is, gamma squeezing. So tomorrow, after this is over, these upside hedges will no longer have to be held, and dealers won't have to hold that long stock. So we know that's a window of risk. But we're also seeing IM at this extreme nosebleed level here, a pretty solid spike in the dark pool, right at the highs here. And that's been over the last couple of days. Largest dark pool volume in a while. While we're gamma squeezing, while we're short squeezing, generally don't like to see that. We also have, so we talk about gamma squeezing and everything else, but we have this kind of pin at 5,900, and we still have yet been able to break that. So I don't really see what's going to get us through that. We're actually, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow that is actually in negative gamma. That's pretty close. We started out in negative territory today, and that actually took me by surprise. The morning video, I thought, actually I didn't think, I know that there was interest at 510 on QQQ, and 586 delta on SPY was red. This is a fake print, by the way. It was red all day, and that was kind of suggesting a top, but all of a sudden we just kind of had this kind of out of nowhere melt up. I just don't really like the characteristics. So I wish I could give you like more of a technical explanation. Here's a technical explanation here. This right here is what we call an island, right? So you're kind of just out on an island by yourself, and almost kind of looks similar to me to this move in 2020 where we had this big sell V shape, and we had this just kind of blow off euphoric kind of move where we gapped up, we made a new high, and then we went sideways and had a pretty substantial sell. Now, who knows? Maybe that's all it is. Maybe that's all we need is a pullback here. Right? We never filled this gap, so everybody can complain about the gaps. What about this gap, right? What about all these other gaps here that never got filled? So I'm not necessarily worried about those. But short term here, yeah, I'm gonna say the risk reward here is probably like 3 to 1. To be short. Now, am I like giga short? Not really. But I definitely feel pretty good about it. So, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So we'll just give back a little bit of the profit from earlier this year. We also did officially, not that we don't take a trade off of this, but we did officially hit overbought RSI on the Qs, not on the spiders, but just an idea of conditions. So we did finally get to that overbought marker. Again, it's not, you don't just go short because of that. In fact, that going short because of RSI overbought is often what leads it to go higher, and there's actually plenty of examples of that. If we just look here, yeah, right here, look at this thrust. So, but anyway, 786 still holding on NQ, as is this trend line here, and yeah, I still like it. So there it is. Looks like picture perfect back test to me. So I don't know. I think we probably hold up for tomorrow. But next week, I'm very interested. Now, volatility here is interesting too, because VIX bottoms, even like VIX futures, bottomed 2 days ago. VIXE holding up as well, as did VVIX, and we actually got into the gap. Now, VIX here, the flows here right now, VIX expiration is next week. It's actually next Wednesday. And don't give them ideas. They'll start coming up with new expiries but hourly expiration, that's coming soon. But in any case, VIX here next Wednesday. So we still have this under pressure. Even if we were to pull back, I don't see volatility moving up too much. After that, though, it's a different story. But interesting, though, we did know how VVIX bottomed 2 days ago. It is outperforming. Usually that kind of is what bottoms first, and maybe it takes a few days, a week, but I'm pretty certain here that this is a little lofty in the nosebleeds. Where could we pull back to? Well, of course, you got the 200. I mean, we could even just pull back to the 200, spike it, and then close above. And that would be like the ultra bull scenario. I still think this area, I think we'll at least try to fill this gap or this one at some point. Maybe you have to do some consolidation. Look at this, right? This is even if you want to include some of this here. So October, November, December, January, February, that's, like 5 months basically of trapped long. So it may take a little bit of time to get through this. And speaking of 786, SPX is trying to hold above that right now. Again, I still think that there's definitely, respect this trend, and it is very powerful, especially to see these moves like that. But I think near term, the risk reward's pretty good here. So again, not hyper bearish like a lot of other people probably are, but just from a trader standpoint, I don't really like the structure of how this is moving. IWM here up 43 basis points into the 100. That's backing off. Dow, same thing, still struggling with this 100 and 200, which is to be expected. You gapped right into it. So SMH showing a little bit of weakness today, down 1%. Maybe a little evening star, but there's no volume behind it, and it's OPEX week, so I don't want to get too enthralled with it. I think ARK had one too. Yeah, ARK kind of had one. Not the greatest. We'll see. If they get hit tomorrow, then they could be considered that. But again, a lot of noise here with OPEX. IGV again, same kind of setup. Usually the third hit of a trend line is a pierce, so we kind of are doing that. And we'll just do this. So we'll see if that does kind of mean. And again, this too, like 76 to 106 in 5 weeks. So, giant move here. Transports again, these are holding up well. Has a nice like bull inside bar here, 1, 2, 3 pullback. Could bid tomorrow. Again, you have a failed bear wedge. So again, like I'm saying, I'm not saying that the market's going to collapse or anything. Transport's showing some strength with a failed bear pattern is a good sign, but near term, I think, being a little cautious here, protect gains. Maybe pick up some vol, maybe pick up a short. Before we go to XHB, let's go to rates, because the 2-year came down pretty good. So I've been in the camp that Powell will cut in June. This is a good start towards that. We start getting down toward this lower end here. Anywhere from 3.4 to, I would say 3.8, we're probably going to get a cut. I just don't. If he holds off again and we're down here, I mean, look, 2-year hit this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Got lower highs now. I mean, he's probably going to be a 0.25%, which is nothing, but still. Yeah, 10s. So pretty much across the board, bond yields down. That said, look at this 30-year chart. This is a power pattern. So looking like that's a really good cup and handle there. All right, yeah, XHB. Again, backing off yesterday, a little bounce today. I haven't really been paying too much attention to it. It's trying to hold 97.50. If it holds, it can go try to firm up here to move higher. VNQ is still firming up too. I like the bounce today. So dip yesterday and a good bid. So if this can stay firm for another, a couple of weeks, and if the market holds up, this can, has a chance to push back towards 92 with that 200-day moving average up there. And like we said, XLF holding up fine. Again, little island though, right? Talked about this last time too, on the downside. And we said, hey, the market's probably going to bounce here. XLF's probably going to bounce here. Island, right? Gap down, and then we just rallied right back up. So I'm surprised if we maneuvered here. ARE again has a giant gap there. Did hold the 200 though, and it's holding that for now. Same on KBE, and then broker dealers. I mean, right at all-time highs. So, but it's a double top too. So, oil here down 2%. It did come nicely off the lows here. This is, if you're a bear, you're looking at this as like a bear inside bar on the weekly. That's not really the best because it's a tail. So it's more like a kind of a sloppy bear flag. I think it's more of a WV. But we'll see. That remains to be seen. This needs to stay firm here. I wouldn't want to see it go below like the 618, really. Maybe we could be generous and give it this one, even though it's technically not the way you're supposed to do it. Second, it should just be this. But it's holding 382 right now. If it can digest in this, chew through this supply, you got to reclaim 62 right now. But if you can do that, you can push. We'll see about that. XLE gap down. It was weak, and look at this, just came back all day long. So just a buy program there. XOP and OIH. Well, XOP had a nice move. That is in some resistance, and OIH still can't get anything going. I think if this is going to move, it's going to be because tech rotates, and this is just like it's such a hated sector. It might just rally. I think another hated sector that can rally here is healthcare, especially if we see some rotation out of tech. So I like XLV here. I love the liquidity grab look. All right, gap down. You closed below the lows yesterday, gap down today, dip, then close back above. I always like that. A little divergence there. Also, full disclosure, I did buy a little UNH today at 258. And I've been I get questions about this almost every day in the room. I'm like, avoid it, leave it alone, leave it alone, leave it alone, since like all the way back up here. And today I just couldn't. I mean, this is too good of a level. Let me show you this. 618 from the GFC. Right. This is not, rinky-dink, Roku or something like that. This is United Health, the largest healthcare provider, right? 25 billion in free cash flow, right? It has never back tested this zone here ever. First time. Trend line 618. That's money, and nicely up already. Nice bottom tail with heavy volume. Maybe I could overshoot some down to the 200, but you leave a little bit of room to add. If that happens, I don't think it's going to. I think it'll bounce here, and then if it goes there, it'll be on a secondary. But that looks like major capitulation washout. Yeah. I did a whole thing on Twitter on this stock last night too. If you want to check that out, it's on my page. Interesting stuff I'm seeing from dealers. But anyway, yeah, dollar index here. So that was down 20 basis points. Nothing really to write home about. It's trying to flag here. Gas here was down as well. Maybe head and shoulders starting to form there. I don't really trust head and shoulders on these futures that roll every month though. So just be aware of that. Dollar. We talked about dollar yen. So just be cognizant of that. That starts rolling. It's not good. Gold held up nicely. So up 1 1/3. And yeah, it's holding the 50 MA. No problems. This is really, I noticed GLD has a very supportive dealer flow into next month. So this is still strong from what I can see. Silver is still trying to. It's got a lot more time, I think, before it can make a run up here, though. And then platinum, yeah, it's just hanging in there. That one might be setting up. And same thing with palladium. Needs to firm up a little bit more, but they might be ready for a little run here. And then we got copper. Again, still neutral on this. I don't like the red inside. But it's also, you kind of have these tails here, these wicks. So it's like, which way is it going? I don't know, so I won't do. And then Bitcoin here, holding it really well. Yeah, that can move tomorrow if that wants to. I don't know if it's going to have enough to get through this, but it can try. It can try tomorrow. That pattern's pretty good. Alts are down a little bit more today, but they've had a huge run. So, but yeah, Bitcoin acting well. Nice bull in sidebar. That, there's your positive for the market there for sure. So market's getting ready to close here. We're still, look at the Russell kind of getting a little bit of uptick. Dispersion trade as the Q's back off, semis back off, IGV down. So you're seeing that textbook kind of automatic rotation through just the computers. But I'm very interested to see what happens when this gamma unclenches after Friday. We have expiration next Wednesday too, so maybe it holds up for a few days. But I don't know, maybe we blow off to 6,000 here. But I don't know. I think your risk reward here is pretty good on the sell side, at least in the short term. You guys probably think I'm crazy. Very, maybe you think I was kidnapped and reprogrammed by a bot or something. But yeah, that's just what I see right here. So anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.